Hey guys, good to see you all again. Thanks for coming. In this video, I'm going to be discussing ego lifting. I'll briefly give my views and opinions on ego lifting, and then I'll continue my interview with Brad and see how he approaches ego lifting. Enjoy! So, starting off, I would first like to make a distinction between two types of ego lifting that I personally identify with. I like to call them alpha and martyr lifting. Alpha lifting is primarily driven by extrinsic motivations, for example, appearance, aesthetics, status, and social recognition. Whereas martyr lifting is more intrinsically motivated. I see this as goal-driven and meticulous, with a tendency to constantly push limits. It can be advantageous, although the risk of injury is greatly increased with this approach. In my opinion, these two are inseparable and both have their place. I think the term ego lifting gets a bad rap and has a host of undesirable connotations, but in reality you can't have a positive without the negative, and as the saying goes, the difference between a medicine and a poison is the dose. Ego lifting is not inherently bad, but as soon as one outweighs the other, then things can become pear-shaped. And when your body is involved, rarely does any good come out of imbalances. So I asked Brad about his views on the topic, and I was interested in hearing his opinion on the matter.
First of all, I agree with you 100%. There are those two types. The alpha lifter, they're the worst ones to watch. An example is a lifter that we had come into our gym who would only go into the gym prior to coming here and 1 rep max. Every single training session, bench, squat and deadlift, and expect results. Because as we all know, your central nervous system won't cope with that workload. And you're going to become catabolic, and funnily enough, your ego about being the biggest muscly guy is going to take a real battering when you start going down with your numbers. So I think personally, you're on a hiding to nothing. One of the ways that I've found, guys that tend to do that is you get the strongest guy who is actually in the gym and say, go and bench next to that bloke, would you? Just put him back in their spot. Sometimes people need that to realise that they are just the same as everybody else.
This clip is a good visual representation of martyr lifting. I was adamant to stick to the program and wanted to hit the numbers, but I was too physically and mentally drained. And as a result, I felt disappointed and frustrated because I failed on rep 2 of what was meant to be 6 sets of 3 reps at that weight.
The highest percentage we hit in our lifts is 95% in training. Now, in turn, that gives you a program where you have the ability to make sure that the program's designed so you don't fail reps.
Yeah.
That way there's enough time. You pull your percentages back to 65-70% for your endurance phase. You push those numbers right up to 95% for your power phase. It gives the different muscle groups time to recover, repair, come back, hit another session. So if you program well, and for anyone who's a young aspiring lifter out there and you want some guidance, get a good coach, because you will not, hit me up. I do online coaching. Find a really good coach, because you need that experience and guidance, because we all might think we know a lot about the industry and lifting as a whole, but if you think you're there, you're wrong, because there is so much still to learn. And the more that you learn about it and the more that you learn how to program accordingly, the better off you're going to be going forward in the future.
So that's it for this episode. Just want to thank Brad for sharing his experience and insight into the matter. Be sure to check out the Dungeon Powerlifting website and Facebook page, as well as his podcast 9 from 9, which is on YouTube. I'll link in the description below or above there. So yeah, until next time, and darty time.